What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? So today we're going to be working on the old bounty buggy. Hope everybody's doing good. So here's the issue we got. Basically, I've got this whole rear subframe that was put in here by my buddy Alan Pogue. And the issue we have is, since this is an old XP1000 and it has the old frame style, when you put a Turbo S transmission in it, it hangs down really low. So the problem that we were having was that the plate, put the plate across the bottom, it's like right on the transmission. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this exhaust off of here, and I'm gonna see what my options are of raising the rear of the engine up, just maybe about an inch or so. I think getting it up about an inch off the skid plate will definitely help our situation. This is probably the easiest exhaust system to get off here. You actually just got a spring here and you got one underneath. Take these two bad boys off and the whole thing just slides out. You got to slide it out on that side. I use these little pin pullers that you use for like plastic push pins, little body clips. You know what I'm talking about. I use these bad boys. These things work awesome. Sometimes. As long as you're not a puss like me. There we go. Oh, actually, I take it back. We got two other springs here at the top. You know what? I can just unbolt those. Those are actually held on with a 10 millimeter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a little 10 millimeter and pull those two out of there. We've gone ahead and pulled that off. We're gonna go ahead and take this exhaust back out. Speed it out that way. All right, y'all, I don't normally turn my light on my camera, but you know, it's a little dark over here, so I'm gonna turn it off. But basically, what we got going on back here is this is the rear transmission mount right here. And you can see that it's got holes cut straight up and down. And the reason why they do that is because this actually works for an XP1000 too. XP1000 has bolts that sit right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take and we're gonna open up this hole right here, right? And we're gonna put this bolt through this hole. This little pin is gonna go in this hole. We're gonna drill another two holes right up here, and we're gonna take this whole rear end and we're gonna go. What that's gonna do, it's gonna move our axles up just a little bit, but they extend in and out just ever so slightly. I think we're gonna be okay. So wish me luck, because this material right here, this stuff is super thick and it's a pain in the butt to drill through. But I think doing it this way will be the easiest. I don't think we'll have any problems, so wish me luck. Let's get to it. Pretty cool stuff, guys. Actually, so I got all the bolts out, and this one's kind of a pain in the butt, but we got it out. And now I've gone ahead and put my little tool in here. Okay, so basically we got this thing like this, and now you can see that I can move the whole engine up and down. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift this thing up, but it's hitting right there. You see where the trans is hitting that little plate. So we're gonna grind some of that out, clearance that a little bit, give ourselves a little bit of space. I think the other space that's gonna hit is actually right here. So we're gonna probably clearance this a little bit too. Just make room for all this stuff. Well, as you can see, we're just getting finished up. Wasn't too hard. Just had to drill a couple holes, relocate everything upwards. And now we actually have a little bit of space between our skid plate and our transmission. Obviously, you guys won't be able to see it from the camera's point of view, but if you put your fingers up in there, you can actually like almost put your fingers up underneath the transmission between it and the skid plate. So we'll see how it does. I got a couple other things I gotta do now. I'm gonna take these shocks. I'm gonna put the shocks on the bracket lift. I'll tell you why here in a second. That was pretty easy, not gonna lie. And my exhaust, I even got these two little bottom springs back on. It all matched up pretty damn perfect. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take these shocks. We're gonna bolt them up to this spot right here, because the amount of travel, up travel that we have in conjunction with this rear frame is actually causing this rear frame to hit the ground before the shocks bottom out. So we're gonna limit some of the up travel utilizing a bracket lift. All right, so here she is up on her bracket lift. Everything's kind of tight when it comes to this, like this tube and stuff running up through here, but you know, we do what we gotta do. So now we gotta do is tighten everything down and then put our limit straps back on. And I've already gone ahead and I've set the preload on these shocks to nothing. Absolutely zero, because once you put the bracket lift on, you're actually adding some stiffness to the setup anyways. So we'll see what it looks like. So here's something I noticed, guys. If you look in here, the old sway bar mount ain't got no bolts in it. So there's some carriage bolts that they use on these things. And after putting these things on and off a couple times, these things have just gotten super weak. So we're pulling them out, we're replacing them, putting some new bolts in there, and then we'll have this thing back together in no time. All right, we got the limit straps on there. Everything's good to go. The only thing I gotta do is put my little, I got a little bungee cord that I use to keep the limit strap from falling over into the exhaust, so that way we don't melt it.
All right, y'all, cutting into your video real quick. I'm going to save you guys some time. So when you do the long travel RS1, it's really recommended to put some sort of shock tower bracket. HCR makes one. It's actually what I use on Ashley's RS1. It's what I'm going to use on my RS1. What I thought I was going to be doing was putting a bracket lift or some sort of shock tower on my old XP1000 as well, to compensate for, the shocks, being relocated on the Turbo S suspension. I was under the impression that I was actually bottoming out on the front of my buggy. Well, when I put the damn thing on, I didn't like it. It looked like crap. Turned out really bad. So, needless to say, I went over some old footage, looked at the footage, and noticed I actually was never bottoming out at all without the bracket. So, let's just cut to the footage.
All right, guys, no matter what I do, I really can't get over how high this thing is in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack this thing up, and I'm going to see if I can't get these lower shock bolts out and see if I can change this tender spring. Y'all, I'm going to show you guys how to get this tender spring off here with some ratchet straps. This method is pretty easy. I've tested it on quite a few different machines. Some machines, you're going to need a compressor to get them off. If you run aftermarket tender springs and they're basically completely oversprung for the shock, yeah, you're going to need some spring compressors. But if it's OEM stuff comes off pretty easy. Normally you can use a ratchet strap to make it happen. Let me get these straps set up. I'll show you how we do it. Cinch this thing up a little bit. And you see how the straps, or how the straps start pulling the spring upwards. Now, you don't actually have to use the ratchet straps to winch this thing down in order to make them go up. You don't have to sit here and keep cranking. What you're going to do is you're actually just going to push down on the shock itself. And if a tire wasn't in the way, but once you push down on the shock, it will pull the spring away. Now what you do is you rotate this down and you just push it down. And when you push it down, it pulls the spring up. See if I can do this. And that piece basically comes out like that. And when you rotate it back up, it takes off a lot of the pressure off the spring. And you come in here, loosen that up, loosen that up, and pull your spring off. Simple as that. Pretty easy stuff. I'm gonna get this other spring on here. Get this machine back on the ground. See how she's sitting.
This is where it gets funny. Let me tell you something. I'm pretty indecisive sometimes. And this is one of those instances. So when I initially did the bracket lift on, or the shock tower bracket, whatever you want to call it, when I did it on the RS1, I was not a fan. I didn't like the way it looked. It took me a little bit to get it adjusted right. With the fact that I'm running these Turbo S velocity shocks, my initial instinct was to keep them at the stock location, and my whole thought process was, I think I need to put a bracket on. That was the whole reason for this video. I'm beginning to second guess myself. I went out and I pulled my machine up onto the trailer and I watched it flex, and it's like my front axles don't even get to, like, they barely even get to like flat. So it's sad to say, and I'm truly devastated, but yeah, we're gonna just, I think we're gonna take it off. We still have the bracket lift on the rear. We're gonna see how it works this weekend. I think it's also a good thing to note that I can put the bracket lift on at any time, and I think it's a good thing to just do one thing at a time. Since we did the rear, let's leave that alone. Now let's leave the front how it is, and let's go see how it works. So, right out. I'm so dumb. You see how much lower this thing sits? This thing is a lot more proportioned, if you want to call it that. This thing's gonna have a lower center of gravity with this setup rather than that bracket. Like, it's crazy how much difference it is just by moving that top shock mount just ever so slightly. The biggest problem I'm seeing is just the simple fact that, you know, I need to be able to have some up travel. I don't always want to have, 10 inches of ground clearance. I need to be able to have some up travel. We're definitely going to have to get this freaking A-arm switched out here soon. Look at that. See how thing's leaning out like that? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It'll work for the weekend. So we're waiting to get our Super ATV A-arms. We got some black ones coming. I'm gonna leave the blue upper A-arms though, because I don't see a point in changing them if they're not broke. And I had to modify those things in order to get them to fit. So we're gonna leave the blue upper A-arms on there, and we're just gonna replace the bent ones down on the bottom. Don't freaking replace it if it ain't broken. Otherwise, stuff just goes to waste. That's how a lot of these buggies got built. So I guess, in a sense, keep doing that. But all the Turbo S stuff on all of these buggies was from other people's buggies, where they were like, I don't like the stock stuff. I want to buy aftermarket stuff, or I want to buy HCR stuff, or Super ATV stuff, and then all these parts just get thrown on the ground in the garage. Some people just give them away. Some people sell them for, reasonable price. A lot of the times you could find these things for pretty good price. And, a lot of people think that you have to have an RS1 in order to put some Turbo S suspension on it. That's incredibly false, because this is a 2014 RZR XP 1000, and it has a full Turbo S suspension setup. Takes a little bit of custom fab work, but it ain't nothing that I couldn't handle in my simple garage. Okay, so I have no doubt that you guys can make this happen too. If you guys have any questions about either one of these builds, either one of these setups, and you guys want to know how I did it, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can jump into my messages, my inbox, whatever, and let me know what you're thinking. I'll be able to help you out any way I can. Yeah, appreciate all the support, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure to share this stuff with your friends. All right, make sure you jump onto the page. Check out the video tab. There's a lot of different features now on the page, and if you guys haven't checked it out, be sure to do that. Also, I have a shop. I sell stickers, little giraffe stickers, Stanley stickers. Stanley, that guy right there. It's been a while since you've seen him. We normally bring him out at RWP times, but if you guys want some stuff, I got some stickers on sale. You guys can check those out. And yeah, thanks again, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Later.